Hi, I'm Bjarne, I'm a teacher trainer, and I'm here with yet another teaching tip. Now, please give us your like. And if you have any suggestions for future teaching tips, meaning suggestions for questions that you would like me to talk about, please write your suggestion below or send me an email directly. And one of the teachers who's been following us, he's asked us to talk about pronunciation and pronunciation work. And there are three aspects of pronunciation I'd like to talk about today. The first one is drilling. I'm worried that drilling is overdone by teachers and sometimes seen as a panacea for solving all the pronunciation problems of our students. Now, we can't drill mistakes away. Very often, indeed, students are making mistakes because they can't actually hear the difference between the sound they're producing and the sound we want them to produce. So if they can't hear the difference between sh and ch, it doesn't help much to keep drilling check, 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 because they'll just be saying shek, 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 not being able to hear the difference. So the first thing we need to focus on is to get students to distinguish the sounds, to recognize the rise in intonation, the difference in sound, the difference in stress. And only then, when they can hear it, can we use drilling to have them get their mouths around this new sound. The second aspect of pronunciation I want to talk about is areas that we focus on. I'm worried again that there's an overemphasis on sound, meaning that we focus on getting students to say the right vowel sound or the right consonant sound, but there's a lot more to pronunciation than just sounds. There's connected speech, intonation, word stress, sentence stress, and these areas are as important as sounds. I mean, if students don't use the right intonation, they might come across as rude. And word stress is incredibly important for students to be understood. For example, if I say, where is the nearest exit? That's very difficult for the listener to make out that the student is trying to say exit. So just by moving the sound or the stress, it becomes intelligible. And the third issue is much broader, but it's about what I feel is a bit like a drive towards perfection in pronunciation. I think we need to have realistic goals for our students. And I don't think that they need to necessarily sound like little English people or little French people. One of the expressions or phrases I like the least is what's called accent reduction. Because what is accent? Accent is the evidence of the student's first language when he speaks a foreign language. And of course, we need to make their speech intelligible. We need to make sure that students are understood when they speak another language. But they don't have to sound particularly British or American, I think. And I think it would be a quiet shame if we did away with accents completely. I mean, wouldn't it be a shame if the French didn't have a French accent anymore? But maybe they don't want to sound like a little English person. No? Or the Italians, wouldn't it be a shame if they didn't have an accent in English? Maybe they don't want to sound like an American. And I think that's great to have accents. The same way as an American from Brooklyn might have a Brooklyn accent. It would be strange to do away with that. When you do away with accent, you do away with people's background and culture a bit. So let's try to reach an attainable goal. Make our students able to communicate their ideas so that they are understood, but not necessarily trying to mimic the accents completely of other nationalities. Now, thank you very much for following me, and I look forward to seeing you for future teaching tips.